Shalom, family. Glory be to God, and blessed be the Lamb. I call you family because you are Israel. You are Israel. You have forgotten this over the centuries, but you're starting to remember now. So I call you family. I call you blood. To a larger degree, the people of melanated skin also termed as brothers. To an even larger degree, in the same thing, but they hate each other all the while. That's something that I can't quite grasp, and I didn't think that it can be done. But once again, I was wrong vis-a-vis God's word. You know, the time of whispers is over. No more whispers. No more whispers. The world is ablaze. The world is ablaze. In 2010, a man from Tunisia was being humiliation mean, and look it up. It's spelled exactly how it sounds, emoliation. He set himself ablaze. He set himself on fire. That's what he did. As a form of protest, I said then as I watched it on the news, this man has just set the world ablaze. Maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't. But he set the world ablaze, and the world has been burning ever since. Ever since. It's not going to come over and over again. They are being destroyed along with their inhabitants, be they black, white, or any other, as long as they're on the other side of God's word. And an example of that, and I get frustrated that I have to couch my words for the fear of someone will be offended and feel some kind of way. Would you put your feelings aside? Some business is no place for feelings at all. These are places for raw data aside. For just a moment, let's go back 30 years. What happened in America? And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this subject because, again, and I'm even having second thoughts about touching it at all because it sounds awfully mean. But for me, it's just an observation that I am espousing here, something that's already happened. In the 30 years ago, in the black community, we were hit by a double-edged sword, a 1-2 punch. The creation of the human immunodeficiency virus, better known as HIV. They happened within years of each other, and they killed millions. I've went to funeral after funeral after funeral after funeral. If you can remember the 80s, that they were pulling bodies out of homes, out of apartments, every other day, because these people were sent home to die. And they did. And mostly they died alone, which I find so sad. I find that sad that they died alone. But he had to suffer, not to go through, then that has consequences and that has cost. It wasn't that it wasn't expected. We knew that this would happen because some of you lost faith over time. So you gave up waiting on Jesus. You gave up waiting on God, and that too is understood. That is understood. Humans do that. That which doesn't serve them, then they don't believe in. And God had been gone away. There, we are awaiting the Antichrist. That's all. And I'm starting to quite honestly believe that the Antichrist is not a man. The Antichrist may have a leader that presents himself as a man, but the Antichrist is you, those who don't believe, those who make the whole machine go. Those. So once again, I have indulged you, and you've indulged me, and I thank you. Game. And we simply want to pick up what is ours and leave and separate and be done. We're tired. And we have come a long ways. We didn't come to play patty cake or to make nice. No, we came to pick up what belongs to God and separate them from the rest. The rest can make a choice, and that choice can be God. No one's out to convert anyone. No one's out to save anyone. Those days are over. The days of arguing about religion. Now choose. On the one side is God, life, and on the other side lies death and darkness. Just choose, and we'll finish up our business, and we'll go home, and you'll go home. Okay, at the end of the day, it's not complicated. It's not complicated. Those who have chosen have chosen. We don't call them evil. Like I said earlier, we don't think of them as evil. We think of them as making a decision. They made both wrong and right. They say that these are just positions devoid of God, devoid of morality. And that's fine. Again, we're not here to have any more arguments with the enemy. The enemy won those arguments. They won every last one of those arguments, largely because we got up and walked away from the table. We don't debate. We're not here to debate. What you have to do is stop us, not debate with us. Not debate. You must stop us as we must stop you. One or the other. Debating, arguing, those are off the table. They've been off the table for 2 years, 3 years at least. And the enemy won every argument. Now look what he faces. That just goes to show. Sometimes don't flabbergast your opponent, because they'll simply walk away. Walk away. And you will think that you won. No, you did not. To be expected. The difference is now the attitude about morality that they had in the 80s, which it cost those people their lives. They can still have it, and it don't cost them their life. That's the difference. That is the difference. Crack cocaine and drugs the same way. It cost them their lives, either their actual lives or 10 or 15 years spent locked up behind. And those people have a circle of people around them: mothers, fathers, cousins, nephews, uncles, and so on and so forth, your girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives. So that one person is connected to 11 or 12 other people. Once 50% of the population was involved in some kind of gang membership, El Salvador was over. The police wouldn't do their job. The lawyers didn't want to do their job. The prosecutors didn't. And it was because they all had relatives. Answer. For those of you who think that was draconian, that he locked up so many people, um, what was the answer? See, we never have answers. By we, I mean you. I think through what I'm saying, and I'm going to have an answer. I think through what I'm about to do, and I'm going to have an answer. It's you who never have an answer. So if the riots and the stomping and the organized protest and the responses to them are wrong, then what should be the proper response? You can't call something wrong the answer. You have to have an answer, else you won't have the argument. You will be marched out of the door like a child, like a child, plain and simple, like a child, harmless, no harm, no foul, no harm, no foul. So this country has went off the deep end. It's lost its moral clarity. The moral fiber of it, if there was such a thing, has been ripped. It is demarcated. It is separated. It is isolated. Void of any real culture. This is why I say that it's just a place where people come to make money and sometimes live. It's just a geographical capitalistic spot, more like an incorporation than it is a country where you have real neighbor. Well, I'm not getting into all of that. If you're from the 80s and the 90s, then you know that this is no reflection of what this country used to be at all. And it happened very fast, largely because those in power, which sector of culture or how you feel. In fact, I've had to tell multiple people while we're talking, they'll say, well, I feel like it, and I have to stop them. We don't care how you feel. Don't take this the wrong way. Please don't. With all due respect, though, we don't care how you feel. We're not interested in your feelings. We're interested in solving a problem. Your feelings is a precise reason that the problems are never solved. So go sit down in that chair, facing the corner, until you hear an issue of life and death for millions. If, from my perspective, and I've watched you since I was 14 years old, this lifetime, aware of you, very aware of you and what you are and what you had been. Okay, I'm very aware of this since 14 years old. So know, number one, who you're talking to. I'm not your typical 61-year-old at all. And for those of you who thought that Jesus would like sacrifices that I had already made and didn't want to make anymore. So that one was off the table. But it made sense to me. If you don't want to get hurt, then don't love anyone. Then you'll never be hurt. Expectations are low for those who you don't love, and the expectations are high for those who you do. We put people on pedestals. We put them on pedestals, and then we're shocked and angry and hurt that they fall off the pedestal that you built and you set them on, when in reality they were always bad. So don't overthink things. I know I don't. In fact, I don't think at all. You'd be surprised. I don't do no thinking. All of my thinking is done for me. There's nothing for me to actually think about. It's all done for me. You think I... No. 80% of my thinking and my positions are already clear. They already are. It doesn't take too much thinking when your positions are self. But anyway, at the same time, he says, yes, I do. So we're not going there with him. the word I'm looking for. The idea, and there's a word for it. It just fails me now. Um, the idea that I operate within my own sphere is quite frightening to me. I would never want that, ever, because I understood of him. He owed you a promise. He made understandings with your forefathers. So, and through thousands of years of prayer, of praying, you know that God said that he would not hear your prayer ever again. And in the midst of him saying that, though, you know, that the angels reminded him, God can be harsh. And the angels caught it. And it was more like, sir, you don't really mean that. That, yeah, right now I'm a little pissed. What did I just say? Oh, okay. I don't mean that. When they call my name, then I will turn my face to them again. See how quick he cleaned it up, and but only God can do that. He didn't miss a beat. Another time he did it in Revelation, I think. He was barking out orders, or the seals and the scrolls were barking out orders, and the angels were reading all of the charges and the punishments off the seals and the scrolls. Not the earth until I marked mine, meaning you, if you believe, in their forehead. And his have been marked. So now everything is going crazy. In the Muslim world, they're openly saying that the black God, the God of the blacks, is going to bring hell to Babylon, America. They're openly saying this, by the way. But I get confused by when they say black God. No, there is no pretty bad. They filtered themselves up over the centuries pretty bad. They're pretty much in the same boat as everyone else, pretty much. So there is no race factor or a cultural factor. In fact, I call those things what people hide behind. I've had to tell several enemies, you won't be able to hide behind race. You won't be able to hide behind your beliefs or your skin color, because we don't value any of that. We don't value that. We see you as you are. Man has three images. That one gets ugly. And I always have to think about the children because, again, they don't deserve some of the things that I would say and do unto others. They are trapped in the middle of it. And because of that, I have to sort of work around their mindsets and my understanding of how they will process the information that they're hearing. Whenever I speak, I'm fully aware that I'm speaking to multiple audiences. So it is unnecessary. The same fate that the poor man will face is the exact same fate that the rich man will also face in the end. It is you who create these separations. Me, I've been through war. I've seen war. I've seen death. I've experienced death. So I should be different now, shouldn't I? I shouldn't feel the way that you feel about any given situation. There's simply no way out. Let's move along, though. Let's move along, though. While we're talking about that, there is no spiritual separation point between black people, white people, and other people. I only mention those races because at the end of the day, there's only two races in this world: black, white, black, white. No matter how you slice it, due to Western orientation, Western culture, and redemption. Hmm. Well, I can only imagine what slaves would feel about redemption. But you must understand that you were put in slavery for a reason. God said that He put you in slavery to make you worthy of the air He breathed into you. You had made Him that mad. It was one of the few times when I can say that He went off and scolding you. He undressed you. I don't got a clue. I don't got a clue. How did it feel to know after all of these decades, all of these centuries of what your great grandparents and grandparents had believed and prayed for and prayed to would actually come into reality? I would imagine that that feels like some type of redemption. And I can't get out of my mind this idea of a black God. Both what you term black, but in reality, they're more like Middle Eastern, transferred here and becoming black by definition over time. Actually, they're Middle Eastern. They are Israel, the original Israel. We know who they are. We didn't always, we had to search for them a little while. And then we had to watch them closely. We had to watch how they moved. We had to watch how they're. You'd be surprised at the things we were looking for. We were sneakily looking at the palms of their hands. As you have known, and your grandfather has known, and your great grandmother and your great grandfather, you've never been free. You were never meant to be free. God said, I will set them free. Instead, you tried to set yourself free. Our friction with you is real simple. It's real simple. You have complicated things. You have complicated things. I've tried to explain the entire story, and you have complicated things by your unwillingness to accept your punishment. So, in this unwillingness, it was just a religion. You're not religious at all. Listen, you're not others have religion. You got belief, not religion. You you have a set of rules and bylaws and, and code set down by God Himself that was ordained that you live by and you follow, not to be misconstrued with a religion. You were created to be a light to the world, but instead you are not, that would harm you rather than help you yet. But as time goes on, these things must be said. They must be said. And I can only not say them as long as we still have time and wiggle room for me not to say them. But our objectives are quite clear here. Israel goes home. Israel goes home, along with those who have chosen God. Israel, as we know it, is being cleansed right now. Israel will never recover. Israel will the the repercussions of the reciprocal action that may be taken against them for speaking the truth. They no longer fear, and this lack of fear is going to grow and grow and grow. But to the believer, and I know that I'm jumping pretty quick here, but time doesn't allow. And you've known me a long time now, and you must remember that there are some things I won't say because of the multiple audiences, and some things I will say because of the multiple audiences. I know people are into pain. There's no reason for that. There's simply not. For the same reason I don't speak on migration, because it causes people pain. For the same reason I don't speak too much on the Gazans, because it causes people pain. And we're not in the business of causing pain. We are in the business of alleviating such pain, even when the truth is what it is. Even when the truth is what it is. So, to those who have melanin in your skin and those who believe in God, redemption, huh? You no longer have faith. Holding the same flame and believing over all of these centuries. Astounding. Astounding. There are whispers and of race war. Race war. Listen, everybody calm down. Let's put this into another perspective. What do you mean by race war? What do you mean by that? Black people fighting white people? Is that what you mean by race war? Send an army, a rank and file army. They will lose. They will lose because at this point we control everything. At this point, I can safely tell you that. At this point, we have so much power that we can decide if your phone works or not. We can destroy the signals and the frequencies. They all belong to God. And this is man's downfall. It will be his downfall. Everything that he has built up for him, where there will be no more frequencies. We will take out the satellites. Again, this is pre-planned and it is war. It is war. A lot of people don't want to come to grips with this. You are at war, officially. It's think of it as an internecine war. Look it up. Internecine. Look it up. But I'm going to tell you anyway. It's warfare between two forces of unequal power. That's what internecine warfare is. A rank and file army against what they term black people. They will lose, and it won't take long. We will start to wipe out entire cities. That's why we are foreseeing these things now and telling you things like get out of the cities. Get out of the cities, because this man is crazy, and he's going to make us do something that we wouldn't otherwise do, and it could cost them a city. Okay, he hears this too, but he understands this. He understands this. He is as trapped as you are. Drive and motivation. These things are the natural evolution of man. We can stretch it out until we're 70 every now and then. Like me, I'm 61 and I still have the same fight and the same gusto in me that I had when I was 30. But that is a rare thing. Rare. Not usually. My grandfather then was done fighting at age 60. They didn't want to do anything but go to work, come home, drink a beer, talk to their wife and kids, go to sleep, wake up, and do it again. What I'm looking for, they were not fighters. They were peace-loving, God-fearing people, and that did not understand. It's like I tried to tell my grandmother one day, God bless her soul, Grandma, some things don't stop. They have to be stopped. Okay? They don't just get better. They don't fade. It has to be stopped. Something must happen to alter the trajectory that it is on. Likewise, she got, at any rate, my grandmother asked me, "What's wrong with you?" And this was at a time in my life that I was very mean, very mean. You could safely say I was looking for trouble. Not in the sense that I'm going to do some troubling things. I was looking for those who wanted trouble. I was going to be their trouble. And I did this as a matter of routine. Those who bark loudest, those who see themselves as a bullies, routinely went after people like that. People who think of themselves as gangsters and of those things. Because he's not that guy. He'll only make things worse. He doesn't think like that. And he doesn't care like that. And he most definitely doesn't love like that. And you toss in that he has absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. There will be no race war. There will be something like it. Just imagine them after all of this history and the fact that we are here now. That would mean that they're going to stand up and fight God, which they're not going to do. And before long, you are in a downward spiral into chaos and anarchy and darkness. Period. This is mankind's way. It's always been. It's always been. So while there are certain things that I won't talk about right now, it's because of the fact that God's people span every race, every culture, every tongue. So their well-being, how they feel on the inside of them, is more important to me. They're over. We don't have time to whisper with you anymore. We don't have time to not say or to say things based on how you feel or how you may feel. We simply don't have time for that. You do understand, right? From our perspective, and when I use the word our, I mean source. Inside of this body, there are 7 of us. Together we are one. Source. And according to our outlook or perspective or analysis, you are dying. You're dying. For us to be like the other men and be filled with, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. No one man can do anything about it. You know what? I heard that when I was 8 years old, 10 years old, when I first started asking questions that my parents and grandparents didn't want to answer, or they didn't have the answer. They didn't make sense then, and they don't make sense now. Again, bless their souls. They didn't, but it was because of lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. The people never have. We will never have the opportunity to sit down as man and wife and see 3 generations of children running around our dining room table. We won't have that. We won't, but they did. We won't have it. And you know it, and I know it. It's a part of the American norm. So you have been redeemed. They can no longer call you crazy. Remember when they used to call you Bible thumpers, Christian radicals? Remember those days? It will go just as it has been written. I will do as it is written, and there's no way out of it. So, as I would tell anyone else at this juncture, just get set for it. Get out of the cities, have a way out, have a plan, because at some point we are going to destroy the cities. Let me, as an example, we so far in the game, I can tell you this now. Here's what's going to happen in Houston. Okay? This is men of darkness will fall from the sky. a wall. And in that darkness is nothing but pitch blackness. And that pitch blackness, remember, is going to be broad daylight. And in that blackness, all you will hear is screeching car tires, gunshots, and screams. That's all you will hear coming out of that darkness. Gunshots, screeching tires, and people screaming. Okay? That is what's on the agenda for Houston. Rather, in this type of consciousness that you're living and you're going through the day-to-day routine of what you normally would do, but I call that body memory. Your body is just remembering what it did at 1 o'clock yesterday and at 5 o'clock yesterday, and it's repeating it. You're not there, as I wasn't there. I was so not there that I thought it was Sunday and it was Wednesday. I thought it was Sunday. I thought it was just overnight from Saturday. There appeared in the sky ships, what you would term as ships. Out of these ships dropped tens of thousands of tiny beings that look like a hummingbird. They look like they are part flesh and they are part machine. So as you were walking around your daily life, you were being scanned. These little birds landed around everybody, and they scanned them. And when they were done scanning, by the tens of thousands, they went back up into the ship, and the ship disappeared. They were right. Plain and simple. No need to argue and fight. They're right. If you don't like them saying this, then change who you are. Don't fight with them. You take away their ability to speak these foul things in truth about you. You fix you, not them. Fix you. Okay? So you've been scanned. We are aware of who is who. And when I'm not, everything else around you is. So try not to be on, there's nothing outside of the purview and the purpose of God. There is no, I can't. I never used the word can't. I never have. I don't remember at all using a word like can't. We don't have that luxury of saying, I can't do something. We don't have that luxury. That is a luxury for others. We don't have that luxury. We must push through it. It must be done. So can't never enters into the lexicon. And if it's not in the lexicon, it never gets into your head. That's something because of the melanin in our skins, in your skin. It's harder. And I have to respect that. But the flip side of that is that you complicated things. We never wanted you to become a part of the very systems and the institutions that we're set to destroy. You did that. You did that. Or your parents and great-grandparents and non-believers did that. So now the issue is forced and things have to happen that would have been much